Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to talk about eating the frog first. And you might be like, whoa, Jennifer, what kind of weird dining moment do you have me entering into? It's not like that. It's just a saying. And I'm going to just read this article because I think it's pretty much puts it in a nutshell for you better than I could. It's from the Todoist.com. That's TODOIST.com. And it is a productivity website. So if you're looking for great ideas to get into more productivity with your day, this is a great website to go to. This article is written by, let me find her name, Becky Kane, Kane. She writes, edits, and attempts to follow her own productivity advice from her home office in Minneapolis. So I'd encourage you to check it out because as real estate agents, a lot of us are working from home. And even if you're not a real estate agent and you are working from home and you've got huge ideas and things that you would like to accomplish, one of the great strategies that has been developed has been eating the frog. And I'm going to read what that's all about. And it leads you to accomplishing more than you could possibly dream of. So let's go ahead and get started. Eat the frog. It's your job to eat the frog. It's best to do it first thing in the morning. Most people overestimate what they can get done in a year and underestimate what they can do in a decade. This famous piece of wisdom, most commonly attributed to Bill Gates, holds true over shorter time spans too. We tend to overestimate what we can get done in a day, but underestimate what we can accomplish in a year. How do we get around this quirk of human psychology? How do we make consistent progress toward our biggest goals without drowning day to day in our overly optimistic to-do list? How do we overcome the mental resistance that comes with big goals and just get started? The answer is a deceptively simple and memorably named productivity method called Eat the Frog. Eat the Frog is perfect for anyone who struggles with procrastination, that's me, gets a lot done, but isn't making progress on the important stuff, has a hard time sticking to a productivity system, has trouble deciding what to work on at any given time, feels overwhelmed by their to-do list. Now, I just want to stop right there and I want to say I'm right there in that boat with you. And I've put into practice some great scheduling and mindset activities that have helped me accomplish really big goals. So I know this is true. I'm going to keep reading. How to eat the frog. Number one, identify your frog, also known as your hardest, most important task for the day. Just one. Number two, eat it. Do your most important task first thing in the morning. Don't give yourself the chance to put it off for later. Number three, repeat every day. You'll be amazed how quickly small steps taken consistently add up to big accomplishments. What is eat the frog? If it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat two frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first. Productivity consultant Brian Tracy named the Eat the Frog method after this vivid piece of advice from Mark Twain. While there's more power and nuance to this method than meets the eye, it all boils down to this. Identify one important task for the day and do it first. At this point, you may be thinking, one task? Are you insane? I have dozens of things I have to get done every day. I can't possibly do just one thing. And I'm sure as a real estate agent, you're thinking, I have negotiations, I have contracts to write, I have showings to go on, I have appointments, I have this, and this, and this. I have emails to check, texts to send, phone calls to make. However, there is one thing in your business that if you do it first thing, it's going to make a huge difference. And we'll keep talking. Bear with me. If you feel pulled in a million directions and overwhelmed by the number of tasks on your plate each day, I'd argue that this method will be even more powerful for you. It's not that you'll kick up your feet and call it a day once you've eaten your one frog. You'll still work on other things, but your most important and often your most difficult task that requires the most energy and focus will be prioritized first before all those other less important but more urgent things get in the way. For example, Doyce founder and CEO routinely checks 15 to 20 tasks off in a day, but sets a goal to complete at least one high impact task daily. Of course, you can always experiment with the exact number of tasks. Agile Results calls for 3 tasks a day. The Ivy Lee method calls for 6, but I'd encourage you to try out the most extreme version first. There's something about the extreme simplicity and hyper focus of just one task that I've found makes this method particularly effective. Why Eat the Frog works. Here's why Eat the Frog should be in everyone's productivity arsenal, even if you already use another method like time blocking or the Pomodoro technique. It promotes a deep work habit. The most valuable work in today's knowledge economy is almost invariably work that requires all your mental resources to be focused on one thing. Think cognitively demanding tasks like coding, designing, writing, strategizing, and problem solving. Yet the modern workplace isn't set up to support that kind of distraction-free, deep work, a phrase coined by computer science professor Cal Newport. We're distracted by so many emails, meetings, chat messages, and requests for input that we don't have the time or space to focus on our highest impact task. Eat the Frog requires us to push back against all those distractions, both external, others interrupting us, and internal, us interrupting ourselves, and prioritize the actions that will actually bring us closer to our goals. It ensures you're setting your own agenda. All too often, the first thing we do when we sit down to work is check our email and incoming messages. Email and instant messaging tools put you in reactive mode. As soon as you start responding, you have ceded your time and attention to what other people want or need you to do. This kind of reactive prioritization can quickly take over your workday. In contrast, Eat the Frog asks you to put your agenda first before any other requests come in to derail your day. Like we talked about at the start of this guide, it's human nature to overestimate what we can get done in a day, even when we know we're likely to overestimate. That's why productivity systems often end up making us feel like we're constantly behind and failing to keep up. When we feel bad, we're more likely to avoid what's making us feel bad in favor of things that boost our mood in the moment. For example, procrastination. In contrast, Eat the Frog forces you to focus on less, even when you know you can do more. Any day that you eat your frog is a good day. Furthermore, following the method means you'll be making progress on something meaningful on a daily basis. Studies have shown that that kind of progress is a key motivator and predictor of happiness and engagement at work, and can lead to a virtuous cycle of getting things done. We feel good when we follow through on the things we intended to do, which in turn makes it easier to continue doing them. When you experience a win first thing in the morning, you're more likely to build momentum and good vibes to carry you through the rest of your workday. It takes full advantage of your best work hours. We all know intuitively that not all work hours are created equal. The first hour of the morning when your energy and willpower are high is a lot more productive than the 1 hour after lunch when all you want to do is curl up and take a nap. Eat the Frog ensures that you're using your best hours to do your most mentally taxing work and leaves less important tasks for times when you've already exhausted your brain power for the day. It's dead simple and infinitely flexible. While there are benefits to more complex and all-encompassing methods like getting things done, maintaining them can often become just another task on your to-do list. Eat the Frog is a simple method that anyone can fall back on at any time with very little time or mental resources required, and it's almost universally applicable. No matter your job, goals, or circumstances, we all have to contend with our limited time and energy. Eat the frog is simple, yet an effective way to ensure that you're making progress on something meaningful each and every day. So there's some tips for eating your frogs. Eat the frog is simple and straightforward, but there are a few tips that will help you apply the method consistently and successfully. Decide on your frog, also known as your most important task. This is the task often important, but not urgent. The type of difficult task that creates a lot of mental resistance and ensuing procrastination. If you don't intentionally make time for it, you probably already know the task I'm talking about. And if you've been with me long enough, you probably know the task that we're talking about. It involves building your career. It involves reaching out to new people and having those conversations about real estate. And the truth of the matter is, it's not urgent. You know, nothing's going to fall apart immediately if you don't do this today. However, it is extremely important, extremely. And the problem with things that are super important, but not urgent, if we have a tendency towards procrastination and there's something else we would rather do, it gets pushed to the side. And maybe not immediately, we don't feel that impact immediately, but months down the road, when we're not getting a paycheck, we'll feel the impact of those decisions that we're making today. So eat the frog is with regards to real estate is specifically talking about your lead generation time. And I know from past experience that if I don't protect that lead generation time, if I don't shut the door, or if I don't get to that place where I can have a lot of productivity, if I don't get rid of those distractions. So maybe at home, there's a lot of distractions for me because there's laundry that needs to be done, pets that need to be taken care of, children need to be taken care of, whatever it is. I'm not going to get a lot done. And I know I need to go to the office to get that done. And if I start checking my email, now I'm in reactive mode and I'm not being in charge of my time and doing what's going to benefit my business. Instead, I'm reacting to what other people need. So let me get back to the list there, a little tangent. Number 2, pick something you'll be able to complete in 1 to 4 hours. So we're talking about lead generation, 2 hours would be ideal. If you spent 2 hours every day, chunk it out in your schedule, make sure you get rid of those distractions. You're going to be doing great. It's clearly defined. It's a realistic task that will make it easier to get started and not procrastinate on. Checking it off your list before lunch will give you a concrete win and accompanying endorphin boost to carry you into the rest of your day. And that is so true. When you do this, when you get it done, especially before lunch, you feel great and you can accomplish so much more actually with your day because it's not nagging you in the back of your brain. I should do. And it never gets done. And we go to bed feeling this emptiness, like I really missed out on today. So get it done first, eat the frog first. Number 3, break it down into smaller steps if needed. If your frog is going to take more than half a day, break it down to smaller steps. So, I mean, I'm not sure if there's smaller steps to break down lead gen. We either do it or don't do it. However, there are different types of lead gen. And instead of feeling like you have to do it all today, whether it's, you know, call all your neighbors or call all your friends or call all your family members or call all the for sale by owners, call all the expireds. And you're like, I can't do all of that. And I got to do all my follow-ups too, you know, say, okay, Monday, I'm going to call some new for sale by owner listings, and then on Tuesday, I'm going to call all my friends and family and make sure they're doing all right. Wednesday, I'm going to follow up with all my past clients. Thursday, you know, I'm going to make sure my social media is putting out some great lead generation posts. Whatever it is, you can chunk it down like that so you don't feel like you have to do everything every day. Have a plan though. Make sure you do have a plan and stick to it. Number 4, resist the temptation to plan ahead. So once you start breaking your big tasks down, you may be tempted to schedule out your frogs for the whole week or several weeks to come. Don't do it. Accurately forecasting tasks into the future is nearly impossible. It will only set you up for getting behind quickly. One of the benefits of Eat the Frog is that you get to start fresh with a singular focus each morning. Identify and tackle your frogs one day at a time. And this kind of goes into number 5, prepare your frog the night before. So you should plan a little bit for the night before you're about to do your lead gen. Decide the night before, what are you going to do? Are you going to, what kind of calls you're going to make? Do you need to collect phone numbers for them? Doing a little bit of planning is going to go a long way when you sit down to actually do it. Let's see. Life hacker founder and serial entrepreneur Gina Trapanini recommends getting everything you need to get started on tomorrow's frog setup before you leave work at the end of the day. For example, today my frog was to finish the first draft of this guide. Yesterday, before closing my computer at the end of the workday, I closed out all of my other tabs and apps, but left my research and outline Word document open in full screen focus mode. So it was the first and only thing I saw when I sat down to work this morning. So you could plan ahead, print out some phone numbers, decide if you're going to work on your following up with your database. Maybe you're doing the database system where you have a certain alphabet that you're going to work through. Maybe it is putting people into your database. If you don't have 200 people in your database yet, you need to start working on that and get those numbers in there. So there's a lot you can do to prepare so that when you show up the next day to do your lead generation, you already have an idea of what you're going to do, and then prepare every night before to make sure you're good to go. And then number 6, eat your frog first thing. Whatever your frog for the day happens to be, do it first thing when you sit down to work. If at all possible, don't schedule meetings, don't catch up on Twitter, don't check your email. Don't even think about all the other less important things you'll have to do later in the day. Focus all your mental energy on your frog and only your frog. Whew. And that's hard. I mean, if you've got, a deal on the rails going on, you might wake up and the only thing you're thinking about is, hey, how do I hold this deal together? Remember, deals come and go. Some fall through, and that is just the name of the game. If we are not setting aside that time to replace that deal with new business, we're going to have even more anxiety. However, if you take the time to build your business, and maybe there is a deal that falls apart here and there, it's less of a concern because you already have all this other business in the pipeline. So you see how that works? When you're doing the most important thing, your anxiety level actually goes down. And that's what we all want for sure. Let's see, I think she talks about if you're not a morning person, don't throw the tadpole out with the swamp water. And I know some of you maybe are morning people, but are also dual careers. This could apply. The same principles of hyper prioritization can be applied to any time of day that you feel the most energized, focused, and productive. The point is to take full advantage of your best work hours, whether that's 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. When that comes around each day, do your most important task first. So I hope that was helpful for you. I know this is very helpful for me, and getting rid of those distractions during my lead generation time is huge. And as I do this, as I set aside time to lead generate and to prioritize eating my frog first for my business, I hope that you will join me and do as I do, and we'll do this together. I'll see you soon. We'll talk later. Bye.